and welcome to the Wild Magic Yarns podcast. My name is Charlotte, and as you can see, well, I don't know if you can really see, at the moment I am in bed after hospital. I've had a bit of a bad reaction as well. As you can see, my face is having an allergic reaction. It's gone very red. But this podcast is going to be a little bit of an unconventional podcast. I'm not up to being on camera, so it's mainly going to be videos of things that I'm making, and I'll put a few photos in the introduction bit as well, so you can see what I've been up to. So yeah, if you've tuned in for the first time, all my podcasts won't be like this. It's just while I'm feeling so ill, I've been promising for a month to do a podcast, so I needed to get something out there. So yeah, enjoy the episode, and hopefully I'll be back soon. Well, welcome to the Wild Magic Yarns podcast. I've been meaning to do bi-weekly podcasts since Vlogmas, but I've been really ill, and this is some footage of me going to hospital in the back of Beyond. So I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about what I've been up to. And there's the creepy hospital corridor. These are my Plattijubes socks, and the yarn I used for those was Stripy Cat yarns, and they were obviously for the Platinum Jubilee. And I wore those to the hospital last week because, I don't know, I felt like I needed some hand knits. I wore my hand knit jumper as well, which you'll see in the next photo now. So that was made with Blue Fern yarns, double knit yarn, and it is so squishy and lovely, and it did bring me a bit of comfort on what was not a nice experience at all. So yeah, I'm glad I had those hand knits on. They give you, they make you feel like you're wrapped in love. I love it. So we went to the hospital. I had to have radiation stuff put inside me. I'm terrified of hospitals as it is, and what didn't help was it was the creepiest hospital ever. Look at it. It looks like something out of a horror movie, and there was nobody there. There was no one there until we got to the department that I had to be in. It was so weird. So anyway, I had to have the radiation, then we were sent away for 2 hours. So luckily there was a retail park next to the hospital. The hospital we're not familiar with. Over an hour away, it's the only place that does these nuclear scans. So yeah, I got to go in some shops, which was really nice because I haven't been able to go in shops for well over a year. So yeah, I'm getting emotional. We went in M&S and I got myself some treats from M&S Food. I got a miniature Colin the caterpillar. How amazing. And I ate that straight after the second part of my appointment, which was the scan. Oh, it was delicious. And I also got myself this bar of chocolate, and it's like pretzel and salted caramel, and it is delicious. It's very Moorish, so I had 2 squares and I've had to put it away, otherwise I will eat the whole thing and then I will feel sick. So went to M&S Food, popped into Boots, and then we went to a shop. It was like a posh furniture type store. It had all sorts. It had housey stuff, basically. And they had a whole section of seagull and puffin things, which were just right up my street. Like, I could have bought it all there and then. And they also had these cute little Highland cows, but they were miniature. When I say miniature, I mean really small, like 10 centimetres across. And it looks like they were made of yarn, but when I look closer, it's actually string. And I said to my husband, I could make these. I wonder how much they are, and I could make them with like hand spun yarn and hand whittle the horns and the little nose, and they're just mounted on a slice of wood. So I looked at the price, £45 for a teeny tiny Highland cow head. And I mean, they didn't look, obviously they must be handmade to some point, but they didn't look handmade, like craft store handmade. They looked commercial, mass produced. So yeah, I reckon I could have a go at making some of those. I do. And I think using hand spun yarn or hand dyed yarn would be really nice. So I might try that. I might whittle some horns and noses and see how I go. I treated myself to this little pink baby dinosaur warmies, which you put the whole thing in the microwave, and it's got pellets inside and it's lavender scented and it's just so soft and lovely. So I treated myself to one of those, and I also bought a pair of border collie socks because how could I resist border collie socks? So that was my treats for going to hospital. Gotta have treats when you go to hospital. I'm going next week as well, so I might get more treats. Why not? And then on the way home, we saw a murmuration of starlings, and it was awesome. I did try and catch a video. I caught the very, very tail end of them, like one split second. But the video is me exclaiming with bad words about where did they go, and my husband explaining with bad words that they had just done a number on the windscreen of the car. So I can't upload that, but you can see the picture instead. I bought Blythe an expensive duck dog toy, and he decided that when I was eating my tea, he would immediately remove the feet of the duck, because in Blythe's world, ducks do not need feet. So yes, that's what he did with his expensive new toy, but he loves it, so all is well. And then I spent the evening doing my child of the 90s jigsaw. I'm not a child of the 90s, I'm a child of the 80s. But I preferred the 90s jigsaw. It is just awesome. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. And here is Blythe looking very pleased with himself for eating duck feet. I have a teeny tiny video of one finished object, which was the Touch of Frost blanket I crocheted for my mum for Christmas by Wool Thread Paint. It came out beautifully. I love it. I love the sparkle. But that's literally all I've done. That's it. I haven't finished anything since December, which makes for a very disappointing podcast. So here are the Storm Seeker socks, and these are for January and February's instalment of the Cozy Toes Cal, hosted by Roro and Kate, who you can find on Instagram. And they're just really nice, aren't they? Like, I love them already. I'm halfway through the third repeat of the pattern, and you have to do 4 repeats before starting the heel. It's 1x1 twisted rib, which is my go-to anyway for socks, so it's just perfect for me. And I'm using Spectrum Fibers Christmas colourway, the Mystery Christmas colourway. I think it's called Christmas Ornaments. Yeah, Christmas Ornaments. And it's got this sort of aqua greeny colour and then little flashes of neon speckles. It's really pretty. Ooh, and let me just see if I can grab something from my knitting bag. Don't know how well this will work on camera, but oh, you can just see, look, some of those speckles are ultraviolet speckles, so they react under a black light. And if you've bought any of my yarn, you might find that some of that reacts too. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with them so far. I'm very glad that Kelly extended the knit along. It was just going to be January and then do a new pair every month. But it's been changed to every other month now, which is great because obviously I am still at this stage. Haven't even started the heels yet, and it's the 3rd of February. So, yes, I'm just so busy at the moment with hospitals and just being ill. When I've been conscious, I haven't been able to do anything other than lie. So yeah, I haven't even been watching the television, reading, nothing. I've just had no energy. I don't know if any of you experience chronic fatigue. It's not like tiredness, it's like actual, my body won't move. Wide awake, but I can't lift my arms, lift my head, move my fingers. Yeah, it's not pleasant, but just part of what's wrong with me. So I'm using a Christmas stitch marker from Adventures in Yarncraft, a little tiny dried orange slice. And then actually I've got another one of that set of stitch markers on this sock. How amazing is that? Look how tiny it is. And the detail on that. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit. That is polymer clay. Polymer clay and a Blythe hair, which I can't get off. How amazing. Like, it just blows my mind that people can make things that small, especially from polymer clay, because I don't do polymer clay. That is how far I've got in my other Christmas cast on sock that I said I was going to cast on. And I cast it on. Just doing the ribbing. It's fine. It'll get done. Got to concentrate on these ones first. Yeah, they're nice, aren't they? The Storm Seeker socks. This is Poo Noodle. And this is January's Snake. So I haven't stuffed it all the way yet. I've only stuffed it about halfway. But basically, the darker the colour, the more times I had to use the toilet in a day. The pinker the colour, the worse consistency. Let's just say that, because I don't want to be too graphic. But it is important that people talk about it and know about it. So, as you can see, not only is this one dark, which means 5+ times that I went, it's also pink. So that is the worst of the worst. Loads of times, severe diarrhea. Then it went sort of still severe diarrhea, but less times. Blue is normal. So that nice light blue there is 1 to 2 times normal. So that was good there. So I was on special medication here that is supposed to help the issue. And that was January the 1st. I just upped my dose to 1 tablet a day. And then I had to take that tablet for, I think it was 2 weeks. Somewhere around, or 10 days or something. So as you can see, towards the end, although it's still pink, which is quite severe, the times I was going, which is dark up here, became less. So I was only going once or twice a day, which is a massive, massive difference to 8 or 9 times a day. These 3 dark stripes here, this is when I had to up my medication to 2 tablets a day. So I had a couple of very bad days there. Very bad. But then as the medication started to work, look, we got blues, which is normal. Purples is between normal and bad. And then green is blocked up. So we had 2 greens here. That's like unheard of. Yeah. And then, I'm not going to lie to you, I had a curry. And that is why that day is dark. But we won't talk about that. So then I've got 3 rows of grey in the same colour as the head then, for the end of January. So yeah, it's a really good visual actually, that I can see when I started the medication, when I upped the dose, things becoming quite normal, fairly normal, and then having an Indian. Yeah, so my medication that has caused this normality runs out in 4 days, and I can't have any more, because by then I will be having my second nuclear scan, which is testing for bile acid malabsorption, and they need, if it is that, then they will give me different medication. If it isn't that, then hopefully they'll put me back on it so that I can be normal while I wait for further tests. But we'll see. We'll see what happens after my scan at the end of the week. So yeah, very handy visual. When I see my actual gastro, I can take this to him and say, look how normal things were, blues and even green, when I was on the medication you gave me. Unheard of. And, you know, it's just really good to be able to see at a glance what my body is up to. And she's quite pretty as well, isn't she? I deliberately went for colours that did not look like poo, because I didn't want it to look horrible. So I've gone for pink, then purple, then blue, then green, backwards on the Bristol stool chart. So she's going to be a pretty snake. No matter how bad pink might be, she's still a pretty little snake. And look, she's so cute. Yeah, so that is Poo Noodle, and she's going well. I'm enjoying her. I can't wait to see her for the whole year. If that's only 1 month, I think she's going to be quite long. She looks rather phallic at the moment, which is a shame. But the longer she gets, the less phallic she will look. What do you think of Poo Noodle? Do you like her? Do you think that's a good idea? I do. She's fabulous. And this is my second whip. This is Habitation Throw. And this is going to be one using 20 gram mini skeins instead of 10 gram mini skeins. So this is the Blue Fern Yarns Apothecary Advent. And I haven't done much yet because I'm trying to work on my socks. But I can't wait for this to be done. I love a habitation throw. I use my other ones so much. Yeah, it's cute, isn't it? And a butterfly cake stitch marker from my favourite Chapelview Crafts. How cute. Yeah. So that one's going to be slow going, especially because I'm using 20 gram minis for it. But it's just one of those nice projects, isn't it, that you can pick up and put down. And it's just rows and rows of garter stitch, and then every so often, every 10 rows I think, you do the eyelets. Yeah, very nice. You have to excuse the little holes in my blanket. This blanket is a proper Welsh blanket, Welsh woolen blanket. I had it for free from Facebook Marketplace because it's got a couple of little holes in it and a few little pulls. But hasn't got many. It's got like 3 of these little holes, a couple of the pulls, not many at all. So I love it. It's the same one that either my gran or my mum used to have. And we use it for the bottom of the bed where the dogs and the cats sleep. Obviously they don't sleep on this bit because this is quite up high close to me. But why would I not want a free blanket just because it had 2 little holes or 3 little holes in it? I don't know. It's lovely. It's pure wool. It's so pretty. The colours are gorgeous. And I love it. So yeah, not bad for free. Very nice dog blanket indeed. And the last whip I'm going to show you, I'm not going to bore you with the Gansey today. Why won't you focus on what we need to look at? This is fibre. Can't think of my words. I was trying to think of the colourway name, but this one doesn't have a colourway name, it's a number. So this is from Furbeck Fibres, and I just fell in love with the colours so much. It reminds me of, like, there's a photo that I took a few years ago of Mumbles Pier in Swansea, and it's where all the paint is peeling off the layers, and you can see sort of bright blue paint on the top, and then like green paints underneath and yellows, and then the final layer is rust, bright orange rust. And it's just such a nice photo. I can't find it anywhere. I'm gonna have to try and find it. I have looked for it, but it just reminds me of that, you know, rest and seaside and the beach, and it's just really calling to me. So I've spun the first 50 grams. This is hopefully going to be plied up as an Aran weight because I want to make a night shift shawl. So I've got to spin up another bobbin of the same amount to ply them both together. And then I've got 2 more sets of fibre to spin up as well. I can't see how 300 grams of Aran weight yarn is going to be enough to make a night shift shawl. I've never made one before, so if you have, will that be enough? I don't know. It says like 6 50-gram balls, which would be the same as 3 100-gram balls. So I don't know. I hope so, but I am sold on spinning Aran weight wool. It spun so quickly. I'm so used to spending hour upon hour upon hour spinning really fine yarn to make sock weight yarn. Very quick indeed. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to spinning the other half of that. And I'm going to do a spin to knit episode about the night shift shawl. So I'll go through what I did with the fibre, show you all the different fibres, how I split it, how I spun it, and then a bit about me knitting the night shift shawl, and then hopefully me showing it off at the end. So yeah, so that video is going to be obviously a while because I need to spin everything and then actually knit it, but that will be a future episode. I like watching spin to knit episodes. I think they're really, really interesting and inspirational as well. Every time I see someone spinning, it inspires me to spin. Because it's one of those things that once you sort of make a skein of yarn and then put your e-spinner away for a bit, and then you just get bogged down then with knitting and crocheting and everything else. And then you forget you can spin as well. So yeah, I love these colours. That is it for my whips at the moment. And we will move on. So my first bit of shop news is that my February yarn club is now live. It'll be up until the 10th, and the theme for the month is Festivale, which is an Animal Crossing event that happens in February every year. And it's run by Parve the Peacock, and he asks you to gather different feathers and rainbow feathers, and in exchange he gives you Festivale items. And it's just a really cute little festival. The colours are gorgeous. I've got some great stitch markers to match, so if you fancy ordering, the link to my shop is in the show notes below. And then the other bit of news is that I have decided to dabble in audio only podcasting as well as video, just because it's been a while now since I did a video podcast and I was feeling a bit bored. I wanted to get something out there, so I thought, why not do some audio podcasts instead, especially when I'm feeling a bit rough and I don't feel like being on camera. So I've done one episode so far, which you can find on here and on Spotify. It's just a little test episode to see how sort of the recording software and everything worked. But if you've got any ideas for future ones, it'll be a bit different to the video podcast, obviously. I'd love any suggestions, and I actually really enjoyed making it, so hopefully I'll be doing some more longer versions in the future if audio podcasting is your thing. Thank you so much for watching this little bit unconventional podcast. I hope that you've managed to get something out of it, and I hope to be back in a couple of weeks with a better podcast and a better me. See you soon.